Hi, I'm Cathy Wurzer. We are live from the WDSC WRPT Media Lounge at Catalyst Content Festival in Duluth, meeting some amazing content creators. And I'm so happy that Elizabeth Charles and Tony Koros are with us. Both of you are with what I consider to be a really interesting project. It's called Before We Wrap.
Yes.
And before I talk to you about it, folks need to see the trailer. So roll that tape.
All right, we're ready for this? All right, let's do this. You guys, thank you so much for coming. We have these conversations amongst ourselves often.
As a Black person who kind of inhabits various forms of Blackness, you do have to unlearn some of these false truths about who you are.
I'm Black, I'm a woman, and I'm queer. People almost don't know what to do with that combination.
I, as a Haitian who came here as an adult, I have a very different experience from Haitians who were born here.
But Carol Channing?
She's Black.
Carol Channing.
It's Black.
Hello, Dolly.
Yes. That's a Black woman. That's a
Did
Black
you guys
woman.
know that? You don't seem surprised. This is so fun.
Oh, yeah. It's fun. It's like therapy. It's like group therapy. Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about today on Before We Wrap.
And I think it's for the better, for the better.
Before We Wrap was selected for screening in the reality category here at Catalyst. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The quote was, in this trailer, and for some of the pub I've seen about it, it's like group therapy. But I gotta say, it's not like the group therapy most people would envision.
Yeah, you know what? That's been a consistent thing that the guests who've been on the show have said about the way that they feel in coming into a space that's just for them, that's been created with their voices in mind and being able to just speak freely. We don't have enough of those spaces for women and people of color, and so we really wanted to make that.
It is a really fresh project. What really piqued your interest in doing something like this?
Just like Liz said, we were trying to make a space for people of color and women specifically where they could feel like they could talk and give access to our audiences, to people who may not have those spaces in their immediate vicinity, to be able to just tune in and find that space available to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Explain the Before We Wrap.
Yeah, it's a pun. So it's called Before We Wrap because Black girls wrap our hair at night. And so literally we thought about it from the perspective of, as a Black woman who wraps her hair before she goes to bed at night, we want you to be watching this show before you go to bed at night so that you can get kind of like a calming vibe, but also some depth to the conversation. And then there's, the R&B guest to end the night off, which is kind of like a lullaby. And so that's kind of the idea. It's a pun also on rapping because we're filmmakers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to gain out of Catalyst by being here? Obviously connections, I understand that, but what's the ultimate goal here?
I would like to meet other amazing filmmakers who are doing great work because we inspire them, they inspire us, and hopefully we make better stuff together. And also hopefully to keep reaching out to an audience, meet people, and then spread the word about Before We Wrap.
Yeah, really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's our aim to try to sell this show so that we can get it on TV or on a digital platform. And the only way for us to do that is for people who are interested in it to like the page, go to the website, beforewewrap.com, like the Instagram at Before We Wrap, the Facebook at Before We Wrap. If we can show that this is something that people want, then hopefully we'll be able to just bring it freely to you.
Do you think a traditional network would look at this and say, this is exactly what we want?
Traditional network?
I'm kind of thinking it's something else.
Yeah, as digital probably.
Yeah.
A traditional network, I've worked at a traditional network, and I think it depends. Here's why. Maybe not a broadcast network, maybe a PBS.
I was thinking that.
Maybe, yeah. But also, you have on Showtime Jesus and Miro, and we're kind of much more feminine than that show. You have on HBO The Shop. So on some of the SVOD, those kinds of platforms that exist, you have on Facebook. Red Table Talk. So there are a couple different places that it could go to, I think. Yeah.
I'm curious from both of your perspectives, working in the industry. I'm thinking Ava DuVernay, Black Panther, Shonda Rhimes. Fantastic, all of them.
Yeah.
Are we seeing a golden age for African Americans in Hollywood, or something else that's really taking fire here?
I would say it's a resurgence, because I feel like we have had other eras where television and film that represented people of color existed and did well, but then there was a lull, and now we're coming back again, and hopefully we'll get to be part of that movement to spread this and hopefully just keep representing.
And what I definitely don't want, and I think we're set up better for it to not be a trend this time. I think we've trended for a period of time, and that's happened sporadically, and I think we're in place as we support each other for it to be more sustained.
And what's the role of social media in really making this sustainable?
Yeah, I think there are a couple different ways. One, we have an increasingly global audience, right? And when you look at the population of the entire world, women and people of color, like, of course, there's limitless growth opportunity there. Two, you have people of color dominating on certain, social media platforms in general, leading the trends in digital in general. There's Black Twitter that people always refer to. And so there are all of these different avenues where social media is being used not just as a place for activism, but as a space for community. And I think that helps to get the voice out about these types of projects and sustain the word about them.
Tony?
Yeah, it also democratizes our reach to the audience. We can find our audiences through social media, not having to necessarily go through all the gatekeepers who might be at networks that might not be able to understand what the content is, and we can find that audience through social media.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best. Like I said, the premise of the show is fantastic, and I loved listening to just the give and take and the back and forth. And I look forward to seeing more.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, and enjoy Duluth.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you're liking it so far.
Oh,
it's good.
Beautiful.
The lake walk is amazing.
I'm glad you like that. It's quite a view, isn't it?
Yes.
I hope to see you again sometime. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We've been talking to Elizabeth Charles and Tony Koros, and the project is Before We Wrap. Again, check it out online when you have an opportunity. We'll be back with much, much more from the WDSC WRPT Media Lounge here at the Catalyst Content Festival.